PHX here, thank you for stopping by, and in today's video we are going to be showcasing a Toxic Trespassers build for the Trickster that I've been working on and thoroughly enjoying. Like, this is the most fun I've ever had in Outriders, and with Toxic just being one of those supreme statuses that just annihilates NPCs, bosses. Like, I wanted to see what I could come up with that would make this gear set like that much more fun to use and much more beneficial to use. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So now for the build. So now we are running 3-piece Trespassers, you can see on the right hand side, and then we've got our epic apocalyptic gloves and boots. So to start it off, we are running Trespasser's Cowl, bonus firepower, close range damage, and cooldown reduction with delivery on time. Activating the skill replenishes ammo for every ally's current weapon in the sphere's range. Instant reload, teleporting instantly replenishes magazine in your current weapon. And then we have Euthanizer in the third mod slot, deal 16% more damage against the enemies afflicted by Toxic. So this is what you're going to kind of want to aim for, is getting Euthanizer into the third mod slot. That way you have availability to place other mods into the build that is going to suit your play style. Next, we have Trespasser's Armor, bonus firepower, close range damage, and cooldown reduction. We have damage mitigation, allies within the sphere receive 40% less damage. We have Arms and Anomaly, critical shots increase your anomaly power by 230,000 for 6 seconds. And then we have Anomalic Caliber, receive 30% resistance piercing while bonus while the skill is active. Then we have Trespasser's Breeches, bonus firepower, close range damage, cooldown reduction, self-medication, increase your max health by 10% when any skill starts its cooldown, stacks up to 3 times, each stack lasting 5 seconds. A little bit of pain, so you can use Time Rift if you really wanted to. If you find that you are able to kind of control your crowds with using Time Rift, or if you're able to go up against the bosses during their phases. So with a little bit of pain, using the skill deals 1.2 million damage over 6 seconds to affected targets. And then we have Slow Trap, allies within the sphere receive 2% movement speed bonus and a 70% reduction to revival time. Speed Boost is kind of a throwaway mod, probably want something a little bit better. If you could try and get another survivability mod like Damage Absorber, or try and get self-medication into the third mod, that is kind of what you are going to want to achieve. Or you could try and get another tier 3 mod that is going to benefit yourself with your build, with your skills. Really, it's all dependent on how you want to run this build. Again, this build is more geared towards the Toxic status effect rather than something else, rather than your skills. Yeah, so again, Slow Trap, Speed Boost, kind of a throwaway mod. Try and get something that's going to benefit your play style. Next, we have our Apocalyptic Inquisitor's Gloves. We've got Anomaly Power, close range damage, skills, life leads. We have Captain Hunter, rolled onto it, increase your damage against the elites by 16%. We have Radical Therapy, deal 8% more damage against enemies afflicted by Toxic. So you should be able to get 24% damage against toxic damage against enemies because of Radical Therapy. And then we also have Euthanizer up here. And then we have Personal Space, grants you a 12% bonus to close range weapon damage. And then lastly, we have got our Containment Overseer's Boots. We have Anomaly Power, Healing Receipt, and Status Power. Definitely want to try and find a pair of boots that roll Anomaly Power and cooldown reduction. That way you do have your Hunt the Prey and your Time Rift or your Bubble coming back to you within about 3 to 4 seconds, depending. I think the cap is 4 seconds for the skills on cooldown. I could be incorrect with that statement, so take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, you definitely are going to want something a little bit better than Anomaly Power, Healing Receipt, or Status Power. Definitely want to try and get boots that have Anomaly Power and cooldown reduction, just so that you are safe when it comes time to do your instant replenishment. And then for the mods we have on it, we have Dum Dum Bullets, increase assault weapon damage by 12% since it's its own multiplier. We have Toxic Lead, killing shots on enemies afflicted with Toxic, replenish 40% of ammo in your magazine. This is kind of situational. You can have Toxic Lead if you really want to, but because you have Hunt the Prey, it's kind of it's kind of null at this point. It does come in handy, especially if you're like me and you forget to use Hunt the Prey to reload your weapon until like it's like the final reload before your twisted rounds go on cooldown. But with Toxic Lead, again, this build is geared around Toxic synergy, so those Toxic status effects. Yeah, so you can either take Toxic Lead and use it just to be kind of like have a backup plan, or you can get rid of it and try and roll something else on it, maybe get Dum Bullets into the second mod slot. That way you have that top mod slot available to you. But you definitely want to get on the bottom of this Toxic Piercer. The effectiveness of Toxic is increased by 20%. The bonus is equal to 100% of your resistance piercing. So that should actually go up from 20%, because when you do have Anomalic Caliber, receive 30% resistance piercing bonus while the skill is active. So while you should have Anomalic Caliber active when your twisted rounds are, anything toxic, so we'll go over the weapon mods here in just a minute, but anything toxic, that should increase it to 50% of resistance piercing. So yeah, just keep that in mind. So this is all going to be synergized with itself, so hopefully that should come in handy when you are using this build. So now on to the weapons. The first weapon we are using is Deathscape. I was lucky enough to get this to roll with both the Toxic tier 3 mods, which is an absolute beast when it comes to crowd control. We've got crit damage, skills, life leech, and healing received. We got Stigmatized in the tier 3 top mod slot. Successful shots inflict toxic and mark the target for 5 seconds. Killing a marked enemy causes them to explode, dealing 856,000 damage in a 6 meter radius, and marks the enemies caught in the explosion. We have Mage's Rage. Critical shots grants a 10% anomaly power bonus for 15 seconds, stacks up to 4 times. And then we have Noxious Spawns, which is my absolute favorite tier 3 mod for Toxic. Successful shots spawn 3 anomaly projectiles that move toward the enemies with the highest health, dealing 440,000 damage and applying Toxic to the target and enemies within a 1 meter range. This is an absolute beast of crowd control, especially when you are running this type of build. Noxious Spawns, I mean, it's almost consistent, and again, with your Toxic Piercer, increasing the effectiveness of Toxic. So once they do get hit by those Noxious Spawns, you're going to be doing anywhere from 50,000 to 120,000 just with Toxic alone. So it's really good crowd control. Yeah, so that is Deathscape. Deathscape is definitely a weapon that you're going to want to use for this build, because it does roll with Stigmatized, and then try and get that Noxious Spawns down in the tier 3 mod slot. Next, we do have Lucky Jinx, Double Gun Demolisher variant, crit damage, skills, life leech, long range damage. We have Ultimate Toxic Bullets, which it rolls with automatically. Second mod slot is Fortress, and then we have Ultimate Vulnerability Bullets, shots inflict vulnerable on enemies. It's not too bad. It actually procs upwards of over 2 million damage, and it stays within the 1 million damage range even when you don't have all of your skills and your procs available to you. So Lucky Jinx is actually a very good weapon to have for this build, because it does inflict the Toxic on enemies every 1 second. And with that, just increases your overall firepower as well. I didn't think I would like Lucky Jinx, especially because of the way that it does have to kind of get to its RPM in the very beginning, but then once you do have it, it's just its ultimate beast of a weapon. Now, if you don't want to run Lucky Jinx, I would recommend that you try and run something like Emerald Chaos, because this one does spawn with Noxious Spawns as well. And then maybe if you're lucky enough, you can get Stigmatized in the bottom in the tier 3 mod slot, maybe, possibly. But so this one would be another option if you don't have Lucky Jinx, is the Emerald Chaos. So now for your skills are pretty much the same. We got Twisted Rounds, we have Hunt the Prey, and we have Slow Trap. As you can see from the build, the Trespassers build is all about deception. So if you didn't want to run Slow Trap, you could definitely run Time Rift. Just it all depends on what you're comfortable with and how you can control your mobs. And then onto the class, we are running top tier, half of the top tier firepower tree, and then for the bottom half, we are running the anomaly tree. So we got our concentration nodes down here. We have our assault master. If you wanted to run a shotgun, you could just swap this for up here to shotgun master, all dependent on how you want to run the build. And then we also have resistance piercing, so that's where that resistance piercing comes in for the toxic effectiveness. I'm not going to go over the nodes because this build is pretty much self-explanatory, so you can just snapshot it if you really want to. And then for the PAX Tree, we are running bottom tier PAX Tree. We got Triggerman, we have Lies and Deception, we've got Failsafe Protocols going into Power Overwhelming, and then we're going into Perpetuum Trickery, so increasing our anomaly power by 10%, stacking up to 5 times. So getting that plus Mage's Rage for 40, so that's 90% of your anomaly power being used or stacking on top of each other. That way you can use your twisted rounds to its most effective ability. And then for our Ascension, we are currently working on doing a cooldown reduction, but we have our crit chance, crit damage, damage against elites, weapon leech, weapon damage, long range damage, close range damage, and then armor pierce, along with skill leech as well. So this is kind of what I'm rolling with right now. In Ascension, you don't have to roll it this way. You could move one of your nodes down over here to anomaly power if you really wanted to, or whichever nodes that you do want. But for me, this just works well with the way of how I play with the Trickster. So other than that, guys, that is it. That is the Toxic Trespassers build I've been working on for the past couple weeks, just trying to get those perfect rolls. I really enjoy this build a lot. It does amazing crowd control damage. It does amazing damage overall. Just constantly eliminating the bosses in a very quick amount of time, as you saw from the gameplay footage beforehand with the final arbiter. Just overall, just a very good build to use. That way, if you didn't want to run something like the Shield Beast or the Terminal Velocity, this is just another variant that you could use and just still have a good time with it and still do tons amount of damage. But yeah, other than that, guys, that is it. That is all I have for you. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, definitely leave a like and comment down in the section below. If you want to see more Trickster builds, let me know what you want to see next. I'm currently trying to work on a freezing build for the Trickster, so we'll see what we come up with that. But other than that, guys, that is it. That is all I have for you. I really hope you enjoyed the video again, and I will see you guys around next time. Take care.